I think it's time that we have a sleepover! You need to be more girly. So I thought that we could lay on the ground and tell each other our deepest, darkest secrets. Pinky promise that you're going to tell the whole truth. So help you God.
Okay. If you're my elementary school music teacher, you might be a little upset with me. But you might just understand because by teaching elementary school music, you kind of know that all the kids kind of suck. And I really sucked. We practiced all the time. I played viola.
Really?
We practiced all year leading up to final performance, and we were supposed to like practice at home and learn the songs. I didn't learn any of the songs because it was really hard for me for some reason. When it came to the final show, I was supposed to like play along with everybody, but instead I just followed like all the bow movements of everybody else and just held my bow like a centimeter above the strings the entire time, just pretending like I was playing with everybody else. And we were in front of like all of the parents, and like it was like a huge auditorium, and it was like a big deal. And I was all dressed up. There's one song that I remembered only the last note of because it like went throughout the entire song, and then the very last note was just like a really long drawn out note. Yeah, so I knew that I could do that, but then that night I was so focused on following everybody else's like bow movements that I totally forgot like the only note that I knew of like all of the songs.
Gonna be so cute later.
Alright, tell us your juicy story.
Okay.
Do you want us to tell the truth and all of the truth? And
I so promise. I dated my first boyfriend, that's not Adam, when I was 20. And he was away for school, and then he came home for Thanksgiving break, and I was at the time reporting these guys at my church for sexual harassment, and they were starting to harass me, like bully me. And then he was like acting really weird when he came home because he was friends with them still. And I was like, are you gonna break up with me? And he was like, no, like I'm still figuring it out. Like, and he really liked to do mission trips and stuff, and so he was like, I think I'm gonna go to Ukraine over the summer. And I was like, wait, but like when will we have time to hang out in person? And he's like, I don't know, maybe we can just break up over the summer and then get back together in the fall. And I was like, you're still gonna be gone. So we were having a rough patch, to say the least. It was like right after Thanksgiving, it was like Black Friday, and his family really like setting up for Christmas. And so he invited me over to set up his house for Christmas.
right away? Right
Yeah.
after Black Friday? I guess that's kind of normal.
But it was kind of awkward for me because we had just had a talk where I was like, are you gonna break up with me? And he was like, I don't know. And so I felt super awkward going over to his house. And his family, I was friends with his sister before I was dating him, so I was like pretty comfortable at his house in general. It was really just the situation I was in. They were like, Sarah Beth, we're gonna have you set up. They had my name is Sarah Beth.
No, who they?
Okay. Yeah, their parent. They were like, we're gonna trust you with putting up this nativity scene in our living room, and we'll be right in the other room. So if you need anything, just give us a holler. And I was so anxious about being there. And I took out the nativity scene, and Mary's head broke off. And I was like, I think that
Mama Mary?
Yeah, I broke the head off, I think. I'm pretty sure it was my fault.
Did it just like tumble off when you pulled it out?
It was still like, it was left behind in the box. Like I picked it up and she was headless, and I looked down and it was in the box. And so then...
That could have been anyone.
Well, I felt it snap. That's why I thought it was
That's
me.
definitely you then.
But I I was so scared he was gonna break up with me, and I like was really insecure that I just kind of like left the head in the box and put the Mary up.
You put it up?
I didn't say anything. And that was...
But you just put the nativity scene up
Yeah. with the headless
Mary.
Mary, and I assumed that they would maybe see it, but maybe not, and then they'd be like,
Do you think
oh,
they ever noticed?
yeah.
Do you think they only noticed once they were putting it away?
Yeah, but he broke up with me around Christmas, like right when he got home from winter break.
Merry
So
Christmas.
yeah, I really don't know what came of that, but yeah, I broke it. I didn't say anything. The great thing is that I could have known what happened to it because I was still friends with his sister when he broke up with me. They just didn't say anything to me. So yeah, sorry. I'll pay for it if you watch this video. Let's play the DS game. Oh my god, you like actually can't see this. It's so embarrassing. Yeah, this is what I said. Don't tell him.
Don't tell anyone.
I want to see. Okay, I want to color it in.
Wait. Here's a short little secret. I think I was in like middle school maybe, or maybe late grade school. Someone asked me, have you ever had like a nickname? Everybody had all these cool nicknames, and I was like, nobody ever like gave me a nickname. So I lied, and I said that back in my old school,
But everybody else
other
went
kids
with you.
said other kids used to call me Pickle. This is a true story.
That's what I did. Okay, this one's a pretty scary one. We'll see if I leave it in post because honestly, it's kind of an embarrassing one. I was 14 years old and I had a Disney pass and I went with my friend Becca a lot to Disneyland. So basically, I was at Disneyland. We used to go like pretty often, like every Friday night or like once a month on a Friday or something, and her dad would come with us. But then her dad had to like be in the park with us basically. That he was like our chaperone. Eventually he would just be like, I'm gonna wander around the park and then you guys can just do whatever rides you want to do and just call me if you need me. What happened was we were in line for the Melody swings. The ones on that used to be on Paradise Pier, now I think it's called Pixar Pier. It's like those swings that like it goes up in the air and they like go in a circle.
I've always wanted to do one of those.
It's really fun, and we were like trying to beat a short line, but I told Becca that I really had to pee. I said I really have to pee, and she's like, do you think you can wait until the end of this line? And I was like, maybe, but then I really had to pee. I was like, Becca, I really have to pee. We need to get out of line. But the line for that ride is like up a set of stairs, and it's like a really narrow line, like a narrow queue. And so it's kind of hard to like go down the stairs and get out of the line. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna just take the elevator down because there's an elevator for accessibility purposes. And so we got out of line and I was like waiting in front of the elevator and I could not hold it anymore. I was like, oh my gosh, like hold it. And then all of a sudden, like a dam broke in my body. Like the river just came rushing out of me.
You're in line?
I was just outside of line, but I was still upstairs. And it was just like coming down my leg. And I was like,
stop?
I could not stop it. And I was 14 years old peeing my pants. And I was mortified. I was so mortified because like,
What were you wearing?
luckily it had been raining. So
That
I was,
is lucky.
I was like,
That's how you know it was meant to be.
yeah, because like it had been raining, so there were puddles everywhere. And so I just was like, that's another puddle.
On you. What were you wearing?
On
though?
the ground where I had just peed.
You just stood there and let it like collect? You didn't like wander around and like...
No, because basically it's like the stairs and then there's like a platform for the elevator. It's a really small space. I was wearing khaki shorts.
Bummer.
And I had a t-shirt on under like this Minnie Mouse like neon pink hoodie. So I put the hoodie around my waist, and then I was like, oh my god, I'm so embarrassed, Becca. I'm so sorry. And she's like, don't worry, we'll go get you like some pants or
Did
something.
she like see you do it?
Yeah. And she was such a true friend because she did not judge me in the moment at all. I don't know what she thinks now, but she is such a good
Comment
friend.
down below what
If
you
you're
think
Becca.
now. Yeah.
We tried to go to all these gift shops and none of them sold pants, not even like sweatpants. And so I was like, what am I supposed to do? And her dad caught up with us. He like ran into us and Becca was like, I think we're ready to go home. And I was like, yeah. And he didn't say anything, even though my pants were wet. So I don't know if he thought like we went on a wet ride or something like
You
that.
should have just gone on like an actual wet ride.
Yeah, that's so true. I like wrapped my jacket around my waist and just like sat on it in the car, but I felt really bad because I probably smelled. You're not allowed to tell anybody!
Picture this. It was 2nd grade.
Yeah.
And we were taking a test, and you couldn't leave class while taking a test, and so I started having kind of a problem where I was like, I kind of really gotta go pee. And so I raised my hand and the teacher came over. She will remain unnamed. She came over because I was raising my hand and I was like, I have to go to the bathroom. And she's like, sorry, you know the rules. You have to stay in class while we're taking a test. And I was like, I really have to go. And she's like, sorry, you gotta finish your test first. And I was not a very good test taker. And so I was like, definitely nowhere near finishing the test. And so I just had to go, and it was like really pressing on me, like really having to go. And I was like, I can't hold it much longer. And then I just remember a sweet release. And I
feel that.
so embarrassed because it was like in the middle of class, and like once you start you can't stop. And I was just like, after school I would always go to kids club. After this test was like the last thing that was gonna happen that day, and then we were gonna walk over to kids club. But luckily it was like torrential downpour that day, and I had the smart idea not to just go, oh yeah, it's raining. There was just a puddle on my seat in class. I had the bright idea to go stand under the corner of one of like the awnings that like goes like on all the pathways in my school, and so it was just like pouring right there. And so I just stood under there and drenched my entire like being. Like I looked like
you were pretty resourceful as a 7-year-old. I was not the same.
Well, the thing is that wasn't out of character anyways, and so nobody like thought any different. Everyone was just like I got to kids club and they're like, Adam's all wet.
I've definitely taught kids like that, where they just come in and you're just like, hey Jimmy. It's a climb. Let's get crazy.
Funny joke. Whoa.
Get up and down. I feel the need to sit this way. I just told the secret.
No way.
Okay, I have an eyeliner pen and we're gonna prank Adam. Oh my god, it's gonna be so good. Okay, he's asleep. Okay, I'm gonna draw on his face. I got it!
I'm sleeping. Did you prank me or something? Wait, hold on a second.
This is what it looked like. Got him!
Looks like I have a mustache now.